Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to do a practice to help regulate the nervous system. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to start in the Dwi Pada Viparita Dandasana, supported on a chair, and I'm going to use the wall for my feet. I'm going to press the balls of the feet into the wall. If you've got a concern in your lower back, it doesn't like arching so much, perhaps you elevate the height where the feet are going to be. You put a couple of bricks there for your feet, for your heels to rest on. We can put a bit of padding over the chair seat so that when we bring our shoulder blades over the front edge of the seat, there's some support, some padding. And also we can use a bolster for the crown of the head. Let's step through. So you're sitting on your chair, both legs come through. And before I come back, I will say if you don't have a yoga chair that is backless, that you can step backwards through, you can potentially do this sitting between two or on two chairs. The chairs are facing each other, the chair seats are touching, and the backs of the chairs are on either sides of you. And you could potentially lie backwards that way. But I've set myself up so that I'm a little closer to the wall than my leg's length. And then you'll note I haven't got a sticky mat underneath my props because I want to be able to slide the chair away from the wall to straighten the legs. So then I can keep my feet on the wall. So I'm taking the hips through the chair just enough that I feel the sacrum on the back edge of the chair. And when I lie back, my shoulder blades come onto the front edge of the chair. So then I'm drawing the shoulder blades down the back towards the hips as I let myself arch back. And then I might find I've got the bolster there ready, but I want to find out, can I straighten the legs? So some people may be comfortable just staying here with the legs bent, but if you're willing to try straightening the legs, you take the toes and the balls of the feet up the wall. You need to lift the head off the bolster a little bit so that you can slide the chair away from the wall so that you can press your thighs down and straighten the knees. And as I said earlier, if it catches in your back and it's uncomfortable, you can put bricks underneath the heels so you raise the level of the feet, the legs. And then again, can you get the head down? Now, if you can't quite rest the head on the bolster, you could potentially turn the bolster up. If you've got a bolster that's shaped like an oval, you can maybe turn it up. Otherwise, you can stack blankets on top of the bolster. So we want to feel that we're able to take the head back and down, but we're also able to press the thighs down and anchor the feet. Now, you could keep your arms here holding onto the chair legs, or you could take your arms overhead, catching hold of the elbows with the forearms resting on the bolster. Once you find the place for resting on the props, if the legs are straight, the legs are active, so the kneecaps are gripped, quadriceps are firm. But the arms can rest. If your forearms are able to touch the bolster, the arms and the shoulders can rest. And then we take some time to settle into a steady rhythm of breath. Now, if you've got one forearm crossed in front of the other, you swap that cross. So it's just a slightly different sensation of opening in the shoulders there. Easy, steady breathing. Now to come out of the pose, reach the hands to hold the arms of the chair. If you feel that your neck needs support, you can use one hand behind the head to help lift the head up. But then perhaps you can dig your elbows into the chair seat, bend the knees, dig one foot into the wall as you come to sit straight up. Sit the buttocks on the chair, rest your hands on your thighs, sit straight, and find a neutral spine. Resist the temptation to want to collapse the chest here. Neutral spine, chest stays open, shoulders relaxed. And as you're ready, we'll come out of the chair. You'll note now I've got my sticky mat back in place and it's pulled up against the wall. I'm setting up for Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, the supported variation using a bolster running the length of the mat, a couple of bricks for the feet. And what can be helpful, and this can depend on your lower back, is using a two-fold blanket in the middle of your bolster. This can help to draw the buttock flesh and the tailbone further towards the heels, which diminishes feeling of discomfort in the lower back. I've also got my belt to bind the legs together. Now we start with the bolster reasonably close to the bricks. So let's say it's about your foot's length, and then you can adapt as you need to. So we sit on the bolster. I've got a flat brick and then a blade-shaped brick for the heels to come onto. And before I bind my legs, I just want to find out how far away from the wall does my bolster need to be. So when I lie back, I deliberately draw the buttock flesh, tailbone towards the wall. And then I want to feel that the front edge of the bolster is pressing into the lower shoulder blade area as my shoulders come right down onto the floor. So I don't want to be able to fit anything in here between the shoulders and the floor. The shoulders must be contacting the floor so that the chin can soften to the chest. Then to find out, am I too close or too far away from the wall? I'll bring my heels onto my bricks and you can see clearly I'm too close because I can't straighten my legs. So potentially I sit up, but don't sit straight up. You roll off to the side to come up. Or you could perhaps hold the bolster in your hands and slide the bolster as you slide your body away from the wall, just enough that you can straighten your legs. Now, you may choose to use a belt or not. Quite often, if you've got the feet flat on the wall, the legs are supported there, you may not need the belt to hold the legs together. But for the purpose of showing you where to use the belt, there's a couple of places that I will use it. Sometimes I'll put it around the ankles, other times I put it around the thighs just below the knees. Or above the knees, I should say, around the thighs there. And then we'll bring the feet back to the wall. Make sure that belt's tight, it's holding the legs together. Chest is broad, shoulders are drawing under towards the bolster to help magnify that lift of the chest. But not just the breastbone part of the chest, the armpit chests are also lifting up. And then ideally, you're able to rest here. So you set yourself up in a comfortable position. Let the spinal muscles soften and spread onto your support. And notice with the chin to the chest, is there any tension in the throat? Can you soften there, relax the throat, relax the jaw. Breathe easily, steadily, smoothly. Now you can stay longer in the pose if you're feeling relaxed and it's helping to soothe and settle the nerves. But for the purpose of keeping this video reasonably brief, I'm going to come out now. So if you're staying, you could pause the video. But otherwise, when you come out, you don't sit straight up, you roll over to the side. So you can roll over with or without the belt on. You can take it off first, or you can take it off once you've rolled off your support. And then you'll come to sit up. Now I'm setting up for a variation of Viparita Karani. Rather than taking the legs straight up the wall, I'm going to take the calf muscles onto the seat of the chair, and the back of the pelvis will be on a bolster. I'm going to use the belt to contain the legs, and there's a little blanket, minimal height blanket for the head and neck. So as we set ourselves, we want the back of the pelvis, back of the waist supported on our bolster. And depending on how long your thighs are as to how far away from you need that chair. You certainly don't want the front of the chair hitting up against the back of the thighs there. That could be uncomfortable. So legs are usually needing to be on the diagonal. As I said, depends on the length of your thigh bones. Back of the pelvis and waist supported, and then the shoulder blades drawing under towards the bolster so the chest is open, similar to Setu Bandha that we just did. But now when you use your belt, you can put that just above the knees on the thigh bones, but you don't have to keep the legs together. You could potentially have the knees hip width apart, feet hip width apart. As long as they're contained within the width of your hips there, the legs should be comfortable. Again, shoulder blades under, turn the palms up, so that helps the shoulder tips descend. The back of the neck supported with that minimal blanket there. And once more, feel into your spinal muscles. You'll feel the back of the waist there. Can those spinal muscles soften and spread onto the bolster? So you're relaxing through the spine, through the hips, the pelvis, the legs, the arms, shoulders. Feel too the muscles there in the back of the neck running up to the base of the skull. See that they're soft. And also soften the throat. And as you allow the body to settle and relax, observe your breath. See that there's some ease. And if there's not, can you cultivate ease in the breath? Can you create a steady rhythm? Now, as we prepare to come out of the pose, rather than rolling over to the side first, let's lift the hips enough that we can move the bolster out from underneath the hips, so you can push it towards your chair, and bend up the knees enough that you can remove the belt. And then you can roll to the right side, support your head there for a moment. And come to sit as you're ready. If you enjoyed that short restorative sequence, I invite you to go over to my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. I've got an extensive video library with many classes, over 370 classes, and I'm adding to that every week with a new class. There are restorative classes, there's gentle classes, there are intermediate classes with all sorts of different focuses. You can start with the 7-day free trial. I'll put the link in the description box below. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.